You brought fire to our sky. So we learned your fire. You think we're primitive? You mistake patience for weakness. You wanted our planet. You should have taken the moon first. It's quieter there. The recording ended with a low hum, the sound of thousands of synchronized human transmitters, resonating like a heartbeat. Even the Council's translation AI hesitated. The waveform contained no pattern, no linguistic logic. Yet everyone who heard it felt the same thing, a message. Something primal. A warning that transcended language. Chancellor Mirval sat back slowly. So your fleet was destroyed by some form of global psychic network? Xyrix's mandibles clicked again. No, Chancellor. Worse. He gestured to the next hollow. A satellite view, Earth's surface glowing with unfamiliar energy patterns. Lightning storms circled the poles. Oceans boiled, but not from weaponry. Something beneath was moving. Your analysts will try to quantify it, Xyrix said. They will fail. It wasn't psychic. It wasn't biological. It was adaptive consciousness. Every human, every machine, every network on that planet, learning, adjusting, becoming. He pointed one trembling claw at the Council. You all made the same mistake we did. You looked at humanity as a species. They are not. They are a process. A survival algorithm that rewrites itself faster than evolution can track. The hollow behind him flickered once more. Final transmission, a human pilot in a stolen Voth fighter, ascending through the stratosphere. His face was burned, his eyes unflinching. He turned the camera toward himself and smiled. Tell your Council. The human said, voice raw but steady. Next time you come to Earth, knock first. The feed cut to black. The chamber of the Galactic Council was utterly still. No one dared speak. No one dared even look at each other. Finally, the Chancellor whispered the words that hung in every delegate's mind. You invaded Earth? General Xyrix only nodded. And the Council, the most powerful beings in the known galaxy, could only stare in shock. From the far side of the hall, a small blue light flickered on one of the Council's communication consoles. A human signal. An open transmission. It contained no words. Only that same rhythmic pulse, the planetary heartbeat of Earth. And with every beat, it grew louder. The sound wasn't loud. It was steady. Rhythmic. But to every mind in the chamber, it felt like the heartbeat of something alive listening from the void. The Council of Verelian Prime had heard 1,000 distress calls, 1,000,000 declarations of war. But never a silence like this, a silence broken only by that soft, persistent thump-thump, thump-thump, echoing through every comm line, every implant, every translator node. Chancellor Mirval stood frozen, her pupils contracting. Is that a signal or a threat? It's either, whispered Xyrix. His mandibles trembled. It's a reply. The hollow displays flickered. For a heartbeat, the entire chamber's lighting dimmed, then stabilized. Every data screen now showed the same waveform, the pulse of Earth itself. And then came the impossible part. We hear you. The voice was everywhere, not through speakers, but inside each delegate's neural translator. A few collapsed to their knees immediately, clutching their heads. The words carried no sound, no syntax, just meaning. Direct, invasive, absolute. The lore to an ambassador hissed. This is some kind of neural intrusion. Shut it down. Technicians scrambled at their consoles, but every system was already locked out. The network had been hijacked at a quantum level. No firewall. No encryption. Earth wasn't hacking the Council. It was talking to it. You sent your armies. We sent them home. You sent silence. We sent truth. The Council's translation AIs struggled, their systems crashing under the emotional density of the message. It wasn't just words, it was feeling. Grief. Anger. Curiosity. And beneath it all, forgiveness. Forgiveness? The errant Chancellor whispered, trembling. They forgive us? Xyrix shook his head. No, Chancellor. That's not forgiveness. That's warning without hate. He turned toward the glowing waveform, as if addressing a deity. Humanity of Earth. You are communicating with the Galactic Council of. We know who you are. The voice cut through him, calm but cold. You watched. You measured. You debated morality while others burned. We asked for peace. You called it isolationism. The hologram above them changed, no longer static waveforms, but live visuals. The council chamber was suddenly filled with images of Earth, cities rebuilt from ash, oceans glowing with orbital light, humans and machines working together beneath fractured skies. You feared our chaos. The voice continued. You called us unpredictable. That word once meant dangerous. Now it means free. The Clath delegate slammed his claws against the table, shattering the alloy. You dare to lecture the council? You're primitives who? He froze mid-sentence. His translator implant crackled, then whispered softly in his own voice. I dared to call them weak. Now I fear what weakness means. The Clath's multiple eyes widened. They're in my head. Not in, said Xyrix quietly. Through. The chamber lights dimmed again. Across every world in the Council's communication range, screens and holos began to display the same symbol, the outline of Earth, surrounded by concentric rings of light. The signal wasn't limited to the chamber anymore. It was spreading. You built empires through domination, the voice said. We built unity through survival. We learned what no algorithm ever could, the courage to adapt, and the will to forgive, until forgiveness is mistaken for fear. A hush swept through the council. The tone of the voice changed, not human now, not entirely. Something larger, as if the consciousness of a whole planet had merged into one speaker. You call yourselves civilizations. Yet you measure strength in ships and numbers. We measure it in how much we can lose, and still remain human. The Varn representative, his scales shifting in agitation, leaned toward the Chancellor. If this entity can reach us here, imagine what it could do to our fleets. We must do nothing, said the voice. You have done enough. The image of Earth shimmered again, now showing the fleet that once invaded it. But the wreckage wasn't smoldering. It was rebuilt. Human markings adorned the ships, their engines glowing with hybrid technology. We kept what you left behind, said the voice. Not as trophies. As lessons. Your weapons taught us how to defend. Your arrogance taught us how to endure. Your fear taught us how to grow. The chamber fell utterly still. No one dared speak again. And then, for the first time, the human voice softened. We are not your enemy. But we will never be your subject. If you come again, you will not find humans. You will find what humanity becomes when cornered. The signal began to fade. The heartbeat slowed. Tell your council to remember this moment. Because the next time you look toward Earth, it will be looking back. Silence. Every delegate remained motionless. Even the breathing of biological species slowed to near stillness. Finally, the Chancellor spoke, voice trembling. General Xyrix, how long have they been capable of this? Xyrix's mandibles opened, but no words came. He simply stared at the fading hologram, at the image of a blue world pulsing softly like a living heart. They weren't capable, he whispered. They became. On the edge of the chamber, a low hum began to rise again, but this time, it wasn't Earth's signal. It was local. The Council's own systems were transmitting, autonomously. The message on every screen read. When the Council opened the transmission, they expected defiance. Instead, they heard music. It began as a single tone, faint, steady, and impossibly clear. A vibration that carried not through space, but through thought. The Council's communication grid lit up in cascading patterns, symbols of every known language appearing and vanishing faster than any translator could parse. Then the tone deepened, harmonizing into a resonance that filled the chamber like a living pulse. This is Earth. The voice was calm. Human. Yet layered, as though 1,000 minds were speaking as one. We know you can hear us. For a moment, no one spoke. The delegates sat frozen, their translators glitching from the sheer density of the message. The errand chancellor finally managed to whisper, "They've synchronized communication across species frequencies." "That's not possible." "It wasn't," Cyrix murmured, "until they made it so." The hologram at the center of the chamber shimmered. The image of Earth appeared, glowing blue, but alive in a way no planet had ever looked before. Data streams surrounded it, threads of light stretching outward into space, connecting to faint points across the void. Those points pulsed in rhythm with Earth's signal. The Clath representative hissed, "Are those colonies?" "No," said Cyrix quietly. "Those are other worlds." The council stared as the data expanded. Dozens of planets appeared, many of them once thought lost to war or resource collapse. Now they pulsed with the same rhythm. "You think we are alone?" the voice continued. "We are not. We reached the worlds you abandoned. We shared with them what you never gave us, understanding." Dr. Amina Patel appeared within the hologram, her figure flickering with gentle blue light. "Council members," she said, her voice echoing through the chamber. "I am the speaker for the Earth Accord. We intercepted your distress signals long ago, planets suffering from your wars, your machines, your silence. We reached them." Her image shifted, showing alien cities reborn under twin suns, refugees rebuilding shattered habitats, Voth engineers working side by side with human scientists. "You invaded us," she said softly. "And in doing so, you showed us what you fear most, connection." The errand chancellor's voice trembled. "You're saying you united the broken worlds?" "Not united," Dr. Patel said. "Healed. Connection is not control. Harmony is not submission." She lifted her hand, and the holographic Earth brightened, not a planet now, but a beacon. "When you burned our skies, we looked inward. When you silenced our voices, we spoke to each other. And when your war ended, we listened to the silence you left behind." Behind her, the hologram expanded to show the Accord network, a field of linked minds across space, faint but real, bound by mutual empathy. Human ships now traveled not to conquer, but to teach, each carrying seeds, libraries, medical technology, and translators capable of bridging entire cultures. They called themselves the listeners. The Varn ambassador spoke up, his voice cautious but curious. "Why are you showing us this?" Dr. Patel smiled faintly. "Because the galaxy doesn't need more fear. It needs a new story. And you, all of you, still have a place in it." Cyrix stepped forward, bowing his head. "And if we reject this story?" The hologram shimmered, and Dr. Patel's eyes glowed softly, not in anger, but sorrow. "Then we'll wait. Humanity has learned patience. Every empire eventually collapses, but compassion doesn't." The council chamber went silent again, but this silence was different. Not the silence of fear, the silence before realization. Chancellor Mirval rose slowly. "You've turned your planet into a networked consciousness, but not for domination?" "No," Dr. Patel said. "For empathy. We remember every species that suffered under your order. We remember every name that vanished in the shadows of your peace. We will not repeat your mistakes. We came to listen." The hologram shifted again, showing the stars themselves glowing faintly, one after another. "Every world has a heartbeat," she said. "You only need to stop conquering long enough to hear it." Mirval whispered. "Why contact us now?" "Because you're afraid," Dr. Patel replied. "And fear makes you dangerous. We would rather be your mirror than your enemy." At that moment, the chamber lights dimmed, but not from power loss. The starfield projection had changed again. Every star in the galaxy's central spiral now pulsed in synchronization with Earth's heartbeat. Even the Council's own world, Virelian Prime, began to glow faintly blue beneath the dome. The delegates stared upward as a quiet realization swept through them. Earth's signal wasn't transmitting. It was resonating. The Accord wasn't spreading by force. It was spreading because life itself recognized harmony. Dr. Patel's image began to fade, her voice softening. "We're not gods. We're not conquerors. We're just what you made us, survivors who learn to care louder than we scream. The accord is open. Join us, or simply listen. That is enough. The hologram winked out. Silence filled the hall. The heartbeat was gone, replaced by something even more haunting: hope. The Chancellor turned to Xyrix. General, you've seen this power firsthand. Do you believe them? Xyrix's gaze lingered on the fading hologram of Earth. Yes, he said quietly. And I think they've already forgiven. Before anyone could speak, a news signal appeared on the central display, faint but distinct. Transmission origin, Proxima Centauri. Earth Accord Colony 2. The message unfolded, glowing softly across the chamber. To the Council of Verelion, the Accord has reached the stars. Humanity is no longer confined to one world. We are coming, not to conquer, but to connect. The Council stared at one another, the weight of history pressing down on them. For the first time in galactic memory, fear and wonder shared the same heartbeat. When the Council finally answered Earth's call, they didn't hear a threat. They heard a chorus. The chamber filled with light. Not the sterile white of data projections, this was something alive. The holographic star map of the Milky Way shimmered, and every pulse of blue light expanded into thousands of points, each flaring like a heartbeat in harmony. The Council watched, frozen, as the transmission from Earth blossomed into a symphony of voices. Not just human voices, alien ones too. Klath, Aaron, Voth. Even species long thought extinct. All speaking in perfect sync. We are the echo. We are the living proof of survival. You called us primitive. You taught us pain. We turned pain into understanding. The transmission shifted again, now showing images, glimpses of liberated worlds where once conquered species stood beside humans, rebuilding cities and planting forests on scorched ground. Human engineers worked shoulder to shoulder with alien healers. Children of 3 species played in gravity bubbles over the ruins of battlefields. The old Empire banners were torn down and replaced by a simple mark. A hand reaching toward a star. The chamber was silent, every delegate watching as the impossible unfolded before them. Chancellor Mirval whispered, almost to herself. They united the conquered. Xyrix, standing apart, his armor still scarred from his defeat, spoke softly. No. They didn't conquer them back. They listened. He gestured toward the hollow, his voice trembling with reverence. They brought them together. Not through fear. Not through dominance. But through a truth none of us ever understood, that unity doesn't require control. The signal stabilized. A human face appeared, older, lined with time and light. Her eyes glowed faintly blue, reflecting the data stream of the hybrid network behind her. Council of Verelion, she said. My name is Dr. Amina Patel, speaker for the Earth Collective. You've mistaken us for a weapon. You saw our defense and called it war. But we were never trying to destroy you. She paused, and the tone softened. We were trying to warn you. The council leaned in. Dr. Patel continued. The Triarch Dominion was collapsing long before it invaded us. Its algorithms were decaying, its logic spiraling towards self-destruction. You all watched it happen. You all led it. You called it order. She stepped closer to the hollow, her expression equal parts sorrow and strength. When they came for us, we saw what you didn't, that the pattern wasn't conquest. It was infection. Every empire built on fear eventually consumes itself. Her voice grew stronger. So we built something new. We built connection. Behind her, the hollow shifted to show an immense ring structure orbiting Earth, a beacon pulsing with living light. What is that? Gasped the errand delegate. The Human Resonance Network, Dr. Patel replied. Every species we freed added their consciousness to it. It isn't a weapon. It's an agreement, a shared field of empathy. We call it the Accord. The Accord? Murmured Xyrix, eyes wide. You've merged your minds? Not merged, she said. Aligned. We feel one another's fear before we act on it. We remember pain before we cause it again. We turned technology into compassion. The Council's data analysts worked furiously, scanning the signal for any signs of control or coercion. There were none. In the background of the transmission, alien and human scientists laughed together, building something vast, not warships, but bridges. We extend the accord to you, Dr. Patel said. To all of you. We're done hiding behind walls and weapons. You taught us to defend ourselves, but we learned something greater: how to forgive. The chamber went deathly quiet. The Clath representative, once the loudest advocate for wiping Earth from the stars, lowered his crystalline head. And if we refuse? Dr. Patel smiled faintly. Then we'll still be here, waiting. Because that's what humanity does. We wait for those who haven't learned yet. Cyrix stepped forward, dropping to one knee before the hologram. Humanity of Earth, on behalf of the Voth Dominion, I renounce our claim to your world. I will bring this accord to my people. Mirvel followed suit, bowing her antennae low. Perhaps the youngest species among us has become the oldest soul. And then, something beautiful happened. One by one, the Council's delegates activated their transmission beacons, sending replies, not words, but music. Each civilization's harmonic tone joined the heartbeat of Earth's signal, weaving together into a sound that filled the chamber with resonance. The walls themselves vibrated. The floor shimmered with light. It wasn't a treaty. It wasn't a surrender. It was understanding. Dr. Patel watched from her end of the link as the galaxy's first true chorus began. Her voice trembled, not from pride, but from relief. For the first time, she said softly, we are no longer alone. The hollow faded, leaving behind the image of a single symbol. Surrounded by 12 luminous rings, the mark of the new accord. In the quiet that followed, the Chancellor whispered, What will you do now? Dr. Patel's voice echoed one last time through the fading signal. We'll go where the silence lives. And teach it how to sing. Final cliffhanger, the epilogue spark. As the council chamber dimmed, a technician cried out, Madam Chancellor! There's a second signal, not from Earth. The hollow reactivated, displaying a faraway nebula beyond known space, pulsing with the same rhythm. This is the Accord Colony, established in Andromeda. Humanity has already begun. Mirval stared at the glowing nebula, her voice barely a whisper. By the stars, they're spreading harmony faster than we spread war. And in that moment, every being in the chamber understood. The age of conquest was over. The age of understanding had begun.